Brothers and sisters, open your hearts and hear this truth. Not everyone walks in the same calling. Not everyone carries the same fire. But there are those who have been set apart, those who have been chosen for a greater purpose. And today we will uncover the 9 indicators that reveal if you are one of them. You feel different from others. From a young age you sensed that you didn't quite fit in. While others were drawn to the things of the world, you were drawn to something greater. You have always felt a pull towards something beyond what your eyes can see. You experience intense struggles. The chosen ones go through battles that others don't understand. The attacks are relentless. The trials seem never-ending. But this is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of calling. The enemy does not attack what is not a threat. You have a strong desire for truth. While the world is satisfied with lies and distractions, you crave something deeper. You cannot settle for empty words or shallow living. You seek wisdom. You long for truth. You feel a heavy burden for others. You can't ignore the pain of those around you. You feel the suffering of the lost, the broken, and the weary. This is because you were called to stand in the gap, to intercede, to be a light in the darkness. You have experienced rejection. People have turned against you. Friends have betrayed you. Even family members may not understand you. But hear this: rejection is often protection. You were set apart, and not everyone can walk the path that you are on. You have a strong discernment. You can see through deception. You recognize when something is not right, even when others are blind to it. You are not easily fooled because your spirit is awake. You feel a constant call to rise higher. You can't be comfortable in mediocrity. Something inside of you keeps pushing you forward. Even when you fall, you rise again. Even when you stumble, you refuse to stay down. The fire inside of you will not let you quit. You have survived what should have destroyed you. Think back on your life, the storms you have endured, the attacks that came against you, the moments you thought you wouldn't make it. But you did. You are still standing, and that is proof that you are chosen. You are being prepared for something greater. Your life is not random. Your struggles are not meaningless. Every battle, every hardship, every lesson, it is all preparation. You are being shaped, refined, and strengthened for a mission greater than yourself. So, stand firm, chosen one. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let doubt silence you. The world may not recognize who you are, but heaven does. You have been set apart, anointed for a purpose, and called to walk in power. Rise up, for your time is now. Amen. From the moment you came into this world, there was something different about you. You never quite fit into the mold that society tried to place around you. While others seemed content following the patterns of the world, you always felt a deep stirring inside, an unshakable sense that you were meant for something greater. There were times when you tried to blend in, to walk the same path as everyone else, but no matter how much you tried, there was always a divine force pulling you in a different direction. Being chosen sets you apart, not because you sought to be different, but because you were never meant to be ordinary. You see the world differently. Where others chase after temporary pleasures, you long for something eternal. While many find comfort in complacency, you feel restless in the face of mediocrity. It is not arrogance, nor is it superiority. It is a calling, a divine assignment that has placed a fire inside of you that refuses to be extinguished. This separation is not always easy. It often comes with rejection, loneliness, and misunderstanding. People don't always see what has been placed inside of you. They look at the surface, while your purpose lies deep within. Some may mock you, question your choices, or even try to convince you that you are going the wrong way. But you must understand that their inability to see your calling does not diminish its reality. When you are chosen, you are called to walk a different path, one that is often misunderstood by those who are not walking in the same purpose. There were moments in your life when you wondered why you felt so isolated. Why did friendships fade? Why did doors close? Why did certain opportunities slip through your fingers when they seemed so right at the time? But hear this: every rejection was protection. Every closed door was divine redirection, and every loss was making room for something greater. You were never meant to fit in, because you were set apart for a higher purpose. The world may try to convince you that being different is a burden, that standing out is something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, being chosen is an honor. It means you carry something powerful, something the world needs. The very struggles you have faced, the very battles you have endured, were never meant to break you. They were designed to shape you. You have been refined in the fire, strengthened in adversity, and prepared for a mission that only you can fulfill. Think back on your life. Look at the moments that should have destroyed you, the times when you felt like giving up, the seasons when you questioned your worth, and yet here you are, still standing, still rising, still pressing forward when everything around you tried to hold you back. That is not by accident. That is not coincidence. That is the mark of someone who has been chosen. You have always seen the world through different eyes. While others chase after status, wealth, and validation, your spirit longs for something deeper. You have tried to silence that inner voice, to suppress the call inside of you, but no matter how much you try, you cannot ignore it. Because when you are chosen, the calling does not leave you. You can run, you can resist, you can try to take the easy road, but you will always feel the pull of something greater, and that is why your journey has not been easy. The weight of being chosen is not light. The responsibility of carrying divine purpose is not without struggle. But let this truth sink deep into your soul. You were not given this calling because you were weak. You were set apart because you have the strength to endure, the heart to persevere, and the faith to walk forward even when the road is uncertain. You may not always feel qualified. You may look at your past and wonder why someone like you would be chosen for something great. But do not let doubt deceive you. Do not let your past mistakes, your flaws, or your struggles convince you that you are unworthy. Those very things have been used to mold you, to prepare you, to equip you for what is ahead. There is a reason you have never been satisfied with the things that satisfy others. There is a reason why certain conversations, environments, and mindsets drain your spirit. You were never meant to settle. You were never meant to conform. You were chosen to rise higher, to walk differently, to stand in truth when the world bows to deception. You must embrace this calling with boldness. Stop trying to shrink yourself to fit into places that cannot contain you. Stop apologizing for the fire inside of you. Stop questioning whether you are on the right path just because it is difficult. The road of the chosen is never easy, but it is always worth it. The loneliness you have felt is not a punishment. It is a preparation. The struggles you have faced are not meaningless. They are refining you. The resistance you have encountered is not a sign to quit. It is proof that you are on the right path. You have been set apart not to blend in, but to stand out. Not to be silent, but to speak truth. Not to be passive, but to walk in power. And though the journey may be challenging, though the world may not always understand you, know this: you were created for something greater than what this world can offer. So stand firm, walk boldly, and never forget, being chosen sets you apart. Because you were never meant to be like the rest. Struggles are not a sign of failure. They are a sign that you have been chosen for something greater. When you look at your life and see battle after battle, hardship after hardship, you may wonder why your journey has been so difficult. You may question why others seem to have it easier, why doors seem to open for them effortlessly, while you have to fight for every inch of progress. But the struggles you face are not meaningless. They are not random. They are evidence that you carry something powerful inside of you. Something that the enemy fears. Something that this world cannot comprehend. Something that is being refined and strengthened through every challenge you endure. The weight of your struggles is directly connected to the weight of your calling. The greater the purpose, the greater the pressure. Those who have been chosen to walk in a higher calling do not get the luxury of an easy path. They are tested, refined, and prepared through trials that most people would not survive. This is why you have faced rejection when you least expected it. This is why you have been betrayed by those you trusted. This is why you have walked through seasons of loneliness, confusion, and pain. The fire you have been through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to purify you. When you are called, you cannot afford to be weak. You cannot afford to be complacent. There is a strength that must be built inside of you, a resilience that must be developed, because your purpose is not small. You were not created for mediocrity. You were not placed here to blend in with the crowd. And because of that, your journey cannot look like everyone else's. Others may walk an easier road, but they do not carry the same calling that you carry. Others may never have to endure what you have endured, but they are not being prepared for what you are being prepared for. There have been times in your life when you felt like giving up, when the pain became too much, when the weight of your struggles felt unbearable. But even in those moments, something inside of you refused to quit. Even when you wanted to walk away, something pulled you back. Even when you thought you had nothing left, somehow you found the strength to keep going. That is not by accident. That is not your own strength. That is the mark of someone who has been called. You have faced battles that should have destroyed you. You have walked through storms that should have drowned you, but you are still standing. You are still here, and that is proof that there is a greater purpose for your life. The struggles were never meant to break you. They were meant to shape you. The trials were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to prepare you. Every tear you have cried, every night you have spent wondering if things will ever change, every moment you have felt unseen and unheard, it has all been part of your preparation. You cannot carry a great calling without being tested. You cannot walk in power without first being strengthened. There are things inside of you that you didn't even know were there, strengths you didn't know you had, but they could only be revealed through the struggles you have faced. If life had been easy, you would not have discovered the endurance that has been built within you. If you had never faced loss, you would not understand the depth of faith that has been planted in your heart. If you had never been broken, you would not know the power of restoration. Your struggles are not a punishment. They are proof that you are being prepared for something greater. The enemy does not attack those who are not a threat. He does not waste time trying to destroy those who have no purpose. The very fact that you have faced so many battles is evidence that you carry something valuable, and that is why you have felt resistance. That is why you have been fought on every side, because the calling on your life is too great for the enemy to ignore. There have been moments when you have wondered why certain relationships had to end, why certain opportunities slipped through your fingers, why doors that seemed perfect never opened. But what if those disappointments were not rejections, but redirections? What if the things you lost were never meant to stay? What if the struggles you faced were not meant to push you down, but to push you forward? There is nothing you have gone through that has been wasted. Every battle has served a purpose. Every struggle has strengthened you in ways that you cannot yet see. The struggles have been preparing you for the moment when you will step fully into your calling. And when that moment comes, you will understand why the journey had to be this difficult. You will understand why you had to learn to stand alone. You will understand why you had to endure seasons of waiting, seasons of stretching, seasons of being molded into the person you were always meant to become. The struggles have been your training ground. They have been equipping you for the battles that lie ahead, for the mission that has been placed upon your life. And though the road has been hard, though the pain has been real, though the weight of your struggles has felt unbearable at times, know this: you have not been walking through this fire in vain. You have been refined, you have been strengthened, you have been prepared. And when the time comes for you to walk in the fullness of your calling, you will see that every struggle was worth it. There is something different about the way you see the world. While others move through life unaware, accepting things at face value, something within you senses more. You feel when something is off, even if no one else notices. You recognize truth, even when it is hidden beneath layers of deception. There is a depth to your understanding that cannot be explained, a knowing that cannot be ignored. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual discernment, and it is one of the greatest gifts you have been given. From a young age, you may have felt things more deeply than others. You could walk into a room and sense the energy, knowing without words if something was wrong. You could hear what someone was saying, but at the same time feel what they weren't saying. When others were easily influenced, blindly following the ways of the world, something in you resisted. You couldn't just go along with the crowd because something inside of you kept warning you that there was more beneath the surface. This discernment is not something that can be learned. It is not a skill that comes through education or experience. It is a gift, a divine ability to see beyond the natural, to perceive truth in a world filled with deception. And because you have been given this gift, your journey has been different. You have found yourself questioning things that others accept without thought. You have seen through lies that others believe without hesitation. You have felt the weight of unseen battles, the pull between truth and deception, the war between light and darkness. Having spiritual discernment is not always easy. There are moments when you wish you could turn it off, when you wish you didn't feel everything so deeply, when you wish you could just live life without constantly sensing the deeper realities around you. But you cannot, because this gift is tied to your purpose. You were not given this ability for no reason. You were chosen to see so that you could lead. You were chosen to discern so that you could protect. You were chosen to recognize truth so that you would not be deceived. Many people move through life blindly, chasing after things that will never satisfy them, following paths that lead only to emptiness. They do not question, they do not seek, they do not perceive. But you were never meant to live that way. That is why you cannot ignore the signs, why you cannot quiet the voice inside that keeps telling you to wake up, to pay attention, to look deeper. This is why certain places, certain people, certain environments drain your spirit. You feel the weight of deception even when no one else does. You recognize the distractions designed to pull people away from their purpose. You see the truth hidden beneath the surface, and once you see, you cannot unsee. This discernment is a responsibility. It is not just for you. It is for those you are called to help. There are people connected to your purpose, people who need the wisdom you have been given, people who are trapped in deception and do not even realize it. They need someone who can see clearly. They need someone who is not blinded by the illusions of the world. They need someone who has the strength to stand in truth, even when it is unpopular. You may have noticed that life has not allowed you to be comfortable in ignorance. There have been moments when you tried to ignore the truth, when you tried to silence the knowing inside of you, when you tried to convince yourself that maybe you were just imagining things. But every time, the truth resurfaced. Every time your discernment proved correct. Every time you found yourself unable to deny what you had seen, what you had felt, what you had known all along. This is because you were not created to walk blindly. You were not meant to follow the easy path. You were not designed to accept the world as it is. You were called to see, to discern, to lead. Your discernment is a weapon, a shield against deception, a light in the midst of darkness. But with this gift comes challenges. There will be times when people do not understand you. They will question why you see things differently. They will mock you for not going along with the crowd. They will try to convince you that you are being too serious, too intense, too different. But do not let their voices shake you. They cannot see what you see. They do not carry what you carry. They do not have the discernment that you have been given. There will be moments when your discernment will protect you from dangers you cannot fully explain. There will be situations where something inside of you tells you to walk away, to say no, to avoid certain people, even when there is no logical reason. Trust that voice. It is not fear, it is wisdom. It is not paranoia, it is protection. How many times have you looked back and realized that your spirit was warning you all along? How many times have you felt the uneasiness, the deep knowing, only to later discover that you were being guided away from something that was never meant for you? Your discernment is not meant to isolate you, but it will separate you. You will not be able to walk in the same places as everyone else. You will not be able to entertain the same distractions. You will not be able to live in ignorance. The more you embrace your calling, the more you will be set apart. And though this may feel lonely at times, know that it is necessary. You cannot fulfill your purpose if you are entangled in the things that were never meant for you. You cannot walk in power if you are constantly compromising truth. You cannot lead others if you are distracted by the same deceptions that they are trapped in. You were given this discernment so that you could walk in purpose. Your life is not random. Your struggles, your experiences, your journey, they have all been preparing you for the moment when you will step fully into who you were created to be. The things that once felt like burdens will be revealed as blessings. The things that once seemed like obstacles will be seen as necessary lessons. Every moment of discernment, every battle between truth and deception, every time you sensed something before it happened, it has all been sharpening you, preparing you, equipping you. There is a reason you cannot ignore truth. There is a reason you feel deeply. There is a reason your spirit reacts when something is not right. It is because you were called to something greater. Your gift of discernment is connected to your purpose, and as you walk in that purpose, you will see that everything you have experienced has been leading you to this moment. Everything you have gone through has been leading to something greater. Every trial, every setback, every moment of confusion and pain, it has all been part of a process far bigger than what you can see right now. Life has not been happening to you by accident. The things you have endured were not random events. There has been a purpose in every struggle, a lesson in every hardship, and a preparation in every season of waiting. You may not have understood it at the time. There were moments when you asked why. Why the pain? Why the rejection? Why did certain people walk away? Why did opportunities slip through your fingers? Why did doors that seemed perfect remain shut? It may have felt unfair. It may have seemed as though everything was working against you, but in reality, everything was working for you. You were being shaped, molded, refined. Every tear, every heartbreak, every disappointment was a tool in the hands of the one who is preparing you for something far beyond your imagination. You have faced struggles that others could not endure. You have walked through seasons of loneliness, questioning your path, wondering if you are even on the right track. But look at you. You are still standing. You are still pushing forward. You are still searching for truth, still refusing to settle, still hungry for something greater. That is not by accident. That is proof that you are being prepared. If life had been easy, if everything had come without effort, you would not be ready for what is ahead. Strength is not built in comfort. Wisdom is not gained in ease. Endurance is not developed in seasons of peace. Everything that is worth having must be fought for, and you have been in a battle, not just against circumstances, but against the limitations that once held you back, against the fears that tried to paralyze you, against the doubts that whispered you were not enough. But you have kept going. And because you have kept going, you have grown. You have become stronger than you ever thought possible. Think about the things that used to shake you, the fears that once controlled you, the struggles that seemed impossible to overcome. Look at how far you have come. Look at the strength you have gained. The things that once broke you no longer have the power they once did. The things that used to keep you up at night no longer carry the same weight. What once seemed unbearable has now become the very thing that made you who you are. You did not just survive. You grew, you evolved, you became someone you never would have become without the trials that shaped you. This is why the process has been so difficult. You are not being prepared for an average life. You are not being prepared for mediocrity. You are being prepared for something greater. Something that requires more strength, more wisdom, more discipline than you ever thought you would need. That is why certain things could not stay. That is why some people had to leave. That is why certain doors did not open, because they were too small for what you are meant to carry. If you had received everything you wanted when you wanted it, you would not have been ready. If you had been placed in the position you desired, before you were fully prepared, you would not have been able to sustain it. There is a reason for the waiting. There is a reason for the delays. There is a reason why things have not happened on your timeline. You are not being denied, you are being prepared. What is coming is bigger than what you thought. What is ahead requires more than what you had before. The level you are stepping into demands a version of you that has been refined, strengthened, tested, and proven. You may have felt overlooked. You may have wondered if your time would ever come. You may have watched others rise while you remained in the shadows. But you were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. You were being hidden, not because you were unworthy, but because the right time had not yet come. A tree does not rush its growth. A foundation is not built in a moment. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree can stand. And your roots have been growing deep. Your foundation has been set in something stronger than what can be seen. You have been in a season of preparation, but preparation does not last forever. There is a moment when everything shifts, when what was hidden is revealed, when the work that was done in the dark is brought into the light. That moment is coming. The waiting has not been wasted. The pain has not been meaningless. The struggles were not in vain. You have been tested so that you can be trusted with what is next. Look back at your life and see the evidence of this preparation. The things you have overcome, the lessons you have learnt, the strength you have built. It has all been leading somewhere. The old version of you could not handle what is coming. The version of you before the struggle, before the loss, before the breaking, could not carry what you are about to receive. But now you are ready. Now you understand things differently. Now you have the wisdom to walk in your calling with confidence. The journey has not been easy, but that is because the destination is great. You were never meant for an ordinary life. You were never meant to settle for what was comfortable. You have been prepared for something greater. And when the moment comes, when the doors open, when you finally see the purpose behind the struggle, you will realize that it was all worth it.